So everyone's heard of Elden Ring, right? Unless, of course, you live under a rock, which I feel really sorry for you. Elden Ring has kind of taken everything by storm, and with the DLC just coming out, everyone is talking about it. My opinion is just going to be blocked up along many of other people trying to get their voice out there, but I just thought, screw it, why not? Let's do it. Because I haven't really felt passionate about a game in quite a while. Quite a long while. But everything this game kind of set out to do is really good. I love it. From Software, I can't really remember disliking any of their games. I had like iffy things with Dark Souls 2, but yeah, even then I kind of went along with this and was way too hyped. I was overhyped, let's be real. But yeah, I didn't let that blind me, and I wanted to go in with like non-rose coloured tinted glasses and just see what it really had to offer. And I should kind of get it out of the way that it's definitely a good DLC. Elden Ring is just a good game in total. I'd kind of give the original base game like a 9 out of 10, and I guess I'd give like the DLC maybe like a 7 out of 10 in all honesty, because it's definitely not a package compared to the base game. It's a DLC, it's a bit extra, but there's a lot of positives, but there's also a lot of negatives that are very obvious when you kind of go into this game. I'll start off with the good ones, of course, just to get some positivity out there. When I first loaded it up, it was just beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. I went into the first area after going through Moog's area. I saw all the beautiful scenery at the start, and I was taken aback. Really, it was just honestly beautiful, and there was nothing quite like it in any other games. Like, cinematography in movies is something that's very underlooked, and when it comes to scenes and games, a lot of devs just don't really focus on it. From Software has always done that well, and it's something that I think they're always going to be known for. But yes, the areas are beautiful. Everywhere you go in this game looks absolutely great. But there's a lot of issues with the map itself. There's layering options, like rather than the area being, say, stretched out on a horizontal plane, the map is very vertical. You can get so lost not knowing where to go next. And there are many optional areas, keep that in mind, that you just can completely miss, because some paths are hidden, typical From Software, and others are just like, some are not obvious. It's just really easy to get lost. It's crazy. So when I was going through, the game took me 12 hours to beat. The DLC just did everything, explored the whole map. It took me 12 hours to just do everything. But even with that being said, there probably was like an hour or two of just wandering around aimlessly. I had no idea where I was going. I had no idea what I was doing. And those 1 to 2 hours, it ended up being a bit of a drawback for me, because while I was trying to take in the scenery and enjoy my time, but I couldn't shake the fact that I have no idea where I was going. I am lost, and that's part of the joy of a FromSoft game, just kind of getting lost in the world and going around. But I was actually getting frustrated. So I ended up getting lost when I was going around the ancient ruins, for example. That's just example one. I had no idea how to get across, go from island to island. I'm trying to keep it spoiler free, but go from island to island and understand what I was doing. There was another time where I'd gotten all through the Black Keep to get to the ruins I was just talking about, and I I didn't find Mesmer. I had no idea where he was, and I ended up backtracking for probably an hour, I'll be real, maybe half an hour, just to find out which small path I had to go through just to find him. It was like walking through a maze. It was incredibly frustrating because I just, the downtime was getting so long just because I couldn't find a distinct path. There was another time, the final time I was really like lost, was I was trying to figure out how to get to the, I think it's called the Halig Tree, kind of like this one of the secret areas and optional locations in the DLC. Yeah, kind of like a foresty area, tons of flowers. Marika's like home, if you know, you know. And I didn't know about the emote. I had gotten it, but I didn't know how to get there, and I was like, oh crap. So that ended up taking me not long at all, because I just did a Google search, because I'd beaten the game and I just wanted to know what it was in there. But yeah, there's just so much in this game that because of verticality and just hiddenness, you really don't know where you're going or what you're doing. Thank God the community is so like energetic and dedicated to sorting through it, because now that I've beaten everything, spent the 12 hours, done all this and that, I just know where everything is. But going into it fresh, it's a bit frustrating. And going to my next point, the bosses and enemies are very overtuned. It's rather crazy. I love how they've brought in the scatter tree fragments and the blessings. They make everything a lot more easier to balance, and just like if you're going in New Game Plus 7 or New Game and you just need to make it easier by finding those and then reducing the difficulty that way, it's cool, it's good, it works. But even they've kind of taken it into account that you're going to have the max amount of those, because when you get to the in-game areas, the bosses are just very overtuned. You're going to get two-shot by every single one of them. And it's ridiculous how you can be max level with level 20 scatter tree, and the final boss can just two-shot you like he was giving you a pimp slap to put you in your place. It's a bit ridiculous. Not to mention the performance of the DLC. I don't know how they dropped the ball on that one, but the final boss just destroys your frame rate. My computer isn't that good, but then again, it's not that bad. And even with that being said, it just tanks my frame rate. I think I only get like 20 or 30 frames when he does certain moves. And yeah, it's terrible. They should have looked into that. They need to be better than that. So I am really giving it tough love, but I love Elden Ring. It's one of my favourite games of all time, and I just want it to remain that way, meet the mark. Another thing I love, though, is that although it does reuse a lot of enemies from the base game, there are some new ones thrown in there, which is obviously expected and really good, but some of them are just pretty cool. And it's good to just mix it up. New weapons as well, and armors, that's always obviously a given and it's needed. But a lot of them are new classes of weapons, which I thought was amazing. They really needed to do that. I'm glad they did. The only problem is that there's not enough. All these new classes of weapons, there's like unique Ashes of War, and Ashes of War you can put on those types and classes of weapon, but there's only like 2 others, give or take, for example. And you just like have these 2 other Ashes of War, and it's like, which one do I choose? The one that's the best, the one that's not that good, or the one that's terrible? Okay, I guess I'll just take the good one. So it's it is a bit ridiculous. They needed to have a lot more weapons, especially a lot of the weapons are locked off behind quest lines, optional bosses, things like that, and that's just... If they were going to do that, they really needed more weapons, because they really just expected you to do everything, which, again, it only took me 12 hours. I'm not the best player, but I'm not the worst, so it might take everyone around that time as well, maybe 10 to 16 hours, give or take. Yeah, just depends how much they want to explore, I guess. But yeah, it was really happy, but also disheartening that there were not many weapons to mix up my playstyle, try new builds. Of course, there are a lot of builds that you can kind of, what would you call it? Like this build that I'm using on the video right now. It's been completely destroyed. It's useless now, but it was fun while it lasted. It was completely broken, completely overpowered, and yeah, it was just funny to destroy the game. And this is kind of like the best part of a Souls game or a FromSoft game, just completely destroying the balance with stupid things, and then of course it just got nerfed into the ground and it's almost useless now. There are still several builds that I use that are viable, that are still really strong, but even then, some of them got nerfed, not completely smashed into the ground like this one, but this is FromSoft. They just love ruining the fun of the players, I guess. But I digress. The builds are a lot of fun, the weapons are a lot of fun. I cannot fault them for that. Even the weapons that suck are still kind of just fun to use and make fun of, I guess. But yeah, it's a very good DLC. Let's just put it that way. Let's be blunt about it. The only thing I do not like about it is in my currency. I love how I'm just smashing this game into the ground. I'm like saying good points and then just completely destroying them with the bad parts of it. Like, oh, this is good, but they ruined it with this. Jesus. But yes, I digress. I was so eager to do this video. I haven't even done a script or anything. I'm just rolling with it because I'm just so excited, and everyone's going to be burnt out on this game soon. I just want to get my voice out there and just see what everyone else thinks. So the base game of the game, it was rather, I guess at the time when it first came out, it's barely ever on sale, so it's naturally expensive. In my currency, it's $100 to get this game, the base game, and on top of that, you get 12 extra hours, give or take, and it's $65 for the DLC, which I was really like, whoa, that's too much. I'm going to be real, that's a lot. Yeah, that's insane. I was expecting, like, in my currency, 45, 50 max. $65 is a lot of money to drop on a 12-hour DLC. I mean, I suppose you can buy games that in my currency would be $65 for 12 hours, but this isn't an actual full game. This is a DLC. This is just added content, and honestly, I would just recommend waiting for a sale. $65 is too much. I love this game, but it definitely needs a price reduction. There's just no other way to really put it. As much as I loved the fun times I had, there was just $1 per hour. It was really high, and there's no denying it. People love this game. People love to play the DLC. It's great to have something new, but yeah, it's it's too much. I'm just going to be blunt with it. Wait for a sale. Get it. Enjoy it. It's really fun. When you get it on a sale, you'll feel even happier for getting it like cheap. But even with that being said, it's it's a bit ridiculous. Getting on to like builds and everything, I know this is a bit of a sidetrack, but there are just so many ridiculous things you can do, like how I am using the golden crux just to destroy Black Gale Knight. It's there are some things people just don't know that completely trivialize the entire game. And I guess it's a From Software game. They're always imbalanced. They always try to force balance and end up ruining a lot of things because of that. But when I first went into the DLC and I kind of knew nothing about OP stuff, it was really funny to just destroy the entire game going back into it, going through another playthrough, just completely rampaging every boss and just making it easy mode. Because let's be real, From Software games are hard, but they're never, like I was saying, they're never balanced, so they're very easy to exploit. You can use the most overpowered things, you can use the most broken stats, don't even need max level, just get a somewhat decent level, and you can just break the entire game. Like, it's completely ridiculous the things you can do, even in the DLC. But for a normal player that doesn't enjoy using meta things and destroying the game, they just want to use what they like, they're going to struggle a lot, especially in the DLC, where it kind of expects you to have gotten good, and it doesn't really respect you. There are a lot of, going back to bosses, there are a lot of bosses that as soon as you start the boss fight, like go into the boss room, there are just these instant attacks that they'll just charge at you in no time to summon, no time to buff, unless you buffed before you went in the gate, because you knew there was a boss or something. You just get instantly one hit, and probably not killed. You usually get 2 shot by everything. But even saying that, it's just the game just loves to disrespect you and just slam you into the ground right off the bat. And it's just, when I was going against the final dragon, of course, spoiler respect, I was really frustrated because I did that boss really early on in my playthrough, and I was starting to get a little peeved because it took me several tries to beat him, because every time I'd go in, I would almost get one shot just because he would rush me every single time. Same with the last boss, that took me several tries as well, just because of that first attack. But yeah, I kind of feel like I'm ranting on now. There's a lot of good in this DLC, but there is also a lot of bad. Not as much bad. That's why I'm giving a 7. Maybe you could be generous and give it an 8. But yeah, the high price for limited hours, as I was going through, I thought the game was like huge, and I was kind of overwhelmed. But then I got through the areas, I did everything, 12 hours done, good time, and then I was like, wow, that was kind of short. I kind of just smashed through it, and I explored everything. I did the entire map. The high price, not worth it. Wait for a sale. It's just a bit ridiculous in this day and age where games are very overpriced, and of course they cost a lot to make, but at the same time people get paid less and less as time goes on, as the economy ruins itself. But that's a note for another story. The weapons, talismans, armors, great, love it. There are some that are obviously shit, there are some that are obviously OP. Nothing's really broken at the current state. The build that I've been using and showing off with the perfumes, again, nerfed into the ground. That was the only thing that I could find, and I've looked on YouTube as well, that I could see that was obviously broken. I guess I could plug like Cyrobe. He's really good. I only found the perfume one because of him. There's so many content creators that try to show off broken builds, but I've been looking around and there haven't actually been that many that I thought, oh, this is definitely getting nerfed into the ground, other than the perfumes, of course. And I hope it kind of stays that way, because I've been seeing nerfs for like things that weren't even broken or that good at all, in all honesty. The Smith script weapons are just utter trash, and they keep getting nerfed into the ground. I don't know why. They're not that good. But yeah, it's From Software, I guess. The talismans as well are really good. They kind of pull a lot of more builds together, even using stuff from the base game. It's really nice to just see more opportunity to completely destroy the game. It's really fun. Bosses overtuned. They did a little patch to give you slightly more damage reduction and damage. It's barely noticeable, in all honesty. It just helps out the noobs when they first start, because they sorted the distribution out of the stats. But even then, you still get two-shot by everything. And late in-game, when it comes to bosses, it's ridiculous. Level doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're max level. That was kind of a lost opportunity there, because even with New Game Plus 7, you barely ever stagger any bosses. You just get two-shot and destroyed. Yeah, it's really hardcore. So I hope they kind of iron that out a bit more, because yeah, you're kind of encouraged to use broken builds, which is not good. You kind of want to have fun with stuff that you like, which I feel like everyone should be entitled to have, rather than just being forced to use the perfumes or something like that. Because with the final boss, I felt rather obligated to use stuff like that, because there was just so many BS moves that they have in their arsenal that just break your game frame rate wise. And yeah, there's just lots of BM in the DLC, but there's also a lot of beautiful sights, and the game is still fun. So I hope you guys kind of liked my ranting, my kind of going off the rails, unscripted garbage. It was really fun. I kind of just wanted to get this out as soon as possible. I pre-recorded the gameplay, and I just wanted to talk over it and watch over it, have some fun with you guys. There's just so much fun you can have in the game. But yeah, just at the end of the day, it's your money. You can get it right now if you want. Don't even worry about a sale if you've got the money. It's definitely worth it. But the price is just really steep for some people, especially people like me. So hope you guys have a good day. I love you all. Have some fun out there.